Hey guys, Nikolai here. Before we get into such things like Korean League of Legends cheaters being arrested and players cheating on stage, I first need to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, ProGuides. People often message me saying that they've been on a losing streak and they ask, how do I start winning? Well, ProGuides.com has the best videos and guides for getting better at League of Legends. They have courses with pro players, champion tier lists, matchup tools, and a 24/7 challenger coach who you can talk to at any time. It's everything you need to get better at League, all in one place. Check out the first link in the description to get started. Now with that being said, let's jump into the video. Cheating. Some people cheat in school. Some people cheat on their relationships. But most disturbingly, there are people who cheat in video games. One of the first instances of cheating in video games came from 1986 when a programmer for Konami created what would become the most well-known cheat code in video games. That, of course, is the Konami code. The code was most popular for being used in Contra, a game that was quite difficult to play on its own, but with the Konami code you would start the game with 30 lives instead of 2. However, cheating on games in this way is harmless. In general, games with cheat codes tend to be single-player games, so the only experience being altered is your own. But today we are lucky enough to live in a world with fantastic competitive multiplayer online games such as League of Legends and I'm sure there's others, but all jokes aside, today the people who cheat in these kinds of online games aren't doing it just to have a little more fun. Instead, these actions are backed by desires to reach the highest ranks, and most importantly, some people take the path of cheating in order to win or make money. So with all that being said, let's get started with 5 of the biggest cheaters in League of Legends and esports. We're going to begin this with number 5, the League of Legends Helper. This was the peak of cheating in League of Legends. The LoL Helper was a premium program designed to give the player every advantage imaginable. On the screen right now, all the gameplay you see is what a player using the LoL Helper would see at all times. Now also, let me break down how overpowered a player using this program becomes. Most obviously, when you use the program, you can clearly see the range of, well, everything. Champions, auto attacks, towers, etc. But along with many benefits, the most impactful is the changes made to the health bar. Here you can see whether or not your opponents and your teammates have an ability available, or if it's on cooldown, and if so, how close they are to being off cooldown. Just that information by itself can be an incredible advantage. So now you know about the League of Legends Helper, but we're not done. This program was created in South Korea, and like I said earlier, it was actually a premium product. I unfortunately can't find exactly how much it cost, but let's say somewhere between $5 to $20. But in October of 2016, the police department of Seoul, South Korea were preparing the biggest crackdown of video game cheating history. And they were successful. The police department ended up uncovering the whole scripting operation and arrested a total of 11 individuals involved in the development of the League of Legends Helper. And to some, it may sound a little crazy to get arrested over something like creating a cheating program. However, the act of manufacturing and distributing programs that are not permitted or provided by the game developers are deemed illegal in South Korea. And just for a look into how this operation was going, the report said that in just 1 year, the LoL Helper garnered over $350,000. Although this program existed for much longer than a year, so you can only guess they made much more. Now, for their crime, the criminals and future offenders will be given a fine of $43,000 or a maximum sentence of up to 5 years in prison.
So, new guy, what are you in for? They caught me killing a man.
I actually made a program that allowed people to cheat in League of Legends. Now, on the same page, number 4 is a quick one and actually stays on the same topic. Except for Overwatch. Don't worry, there is still much more League of Legends coming up. But okay, back in 2017, the developers of Overwatch, Blizzard, actually teamed up with the Seoul National Police Agency Cybersecurity Department. This is a real thing, by the way. This gathering of Blizzard and the South Korean law was all for a year-long investigation to crack down on some of Overwatch's biggest hackers. And once again, the South Korean law was successful. They arrested 13 individuals. They were each sentenced separately, and one of the 13 offenders received 2 years of probation, another offender was charged a straight $10,000 for their crime, and you get the idea for the rest of the offenders. So, if there's anything you can learn from this video, it's don't cheat in South Korea.
Oh great, another new guy. What are you in for?
I was hacking in Overwatch. Moving on to number 3, we now get into a real competitive scenario. This time in the United States, between Team Curse and Team Dignitas in 2012. Now this is one of the most, well, just stupid events that have ever happened in League of Legends esports. It starts right off the bat in Champion Select, when both teams make absurd picks that have nothing to do with the current meta at the time. Heck, someone even picked Teemo. Take a look at the reaction of the casters.
Used too early. As it is though, in the picks and bans here, not the picks and bans. That's never going to be the picks and bans.
This is not
because I've seen
going
Teemo
right.
locked in.
This is not what's happening.
I was like, what? Yeah, we're not going to see that. They're going to have a little change around. So yeah, I mean, going back to the tournaments in the past, they're sorting something out. We don't worry about that. But
this apparently is real. If we hop over to Champion Select,
that's never real. Not in a million years. If that's real, I'd eat my hat, because that is bonkers.
Well, it was very real. Because what was happening here was that both teams decided to play this match in the style of all random, all mid. Meaning that they just picked whatever champion came to mind and they all went mid. At the time, and I still believe today, this isn't against the rules. It's just another way of playing after all. What is against the rules though is later admitting that both teams agreed that regardless of the result, they would split their $40,000 prize money. This tournament was being hosted by MLG at the time, and because of them making this plan to split their prize money prior to playing the match, MLG actually stripped them of any prize money. Team Curse made a video apologizing for the ARAM game, but they denied agreeing to split the money. However, the vice president of esports at Riot Games wrote on a forum about this event and confirmed that they indeed did agree to split the money prior to playing the match. And honestly, in my personal opinion, I totally believe that they colluded. Because, come on, who in the world would seriously pick Teemo? Alright guys, before we head into our final League of Legends cheater, I actually want to step back and talk to you about an event that may not be about League of Legends, but I think it fits perfectly here. So with that being said, number 2, the Clash Royale cheater. By now you've probably come across some sort of contact with a game from Supercell. Supercell are the developers of hugely popular mobile games, most importantly Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. But what you might not know is that despite being just a mobile game, Clash Royale has a pretty serious esports scene. And on February 3rd, 2019, in a major tournament for Clash Royale, a player was caught cheating. But that's what this video is about, so that's not really a surprise. However, what is a surprise is hearing how this player cheated. This is Gregory. He's currently preparing to play a very important match at an esports tournament. But something's up. Because during the match, Gregory was receiving information about his opponent from his manager. Now you might be thinking, how would he be communicating with anyone? These headsets are specifically made to block out noise so that the player can only hear the in-game sound. Well, the answer is AirPods. You see, before the match started, Gregory stayed connected to a call with his manager in his AirPods, which he conveniently had under his headset. You can see this clear as day when the match ends, he removes his headset and there are his AirPods. He then goes on to quickly remove them right after. Oh, you thought we were finished? Well, we're not, because despite using the power of the AirPods to receive an information advantage, Gregory still managed to lose. And then when suspicion came up of his cheating, he just came out and admitted that he did indeed cheat. And with that, he was disqualified. Which, sure, who wouldn't admit they cheated after despite cheating, you still lost? What more do you really have to lose at that point? Gregory, you're just lucky you're not in South Korea. Finally, for number 1, this is my favorite event of cheating in League of Legends ever. You may have heard of this before if you were around back then when it happened, but either way, here we go. The year is 2012 and the Season 2 League of Legends World Championship quarterfinals between TSM and Azubu Frost is taking place. And everything seems to be going fine. Until a player on Azubu Frost realizes that there is literally a giant screen beside him that is giving away very valuable information about TSM's whereabouts. Specifically, right at the start of the game, you can see him look up at the minimap and see that all of TSM are coming up top lane. With this information, he pings his team and lets them know that TSM is on the way. Reportedly, the player continued to use this as an advantage, and Azubu Frost went on to win this match and ended up going all the way to the grand finals, where they would end up losing to the Taipei Assassins. At this point, Riot Games did catch up with the controversy of a player cheating, and Azubu Frost was fined for $30,000. However, for coming in second place, Azubu Frost still won $250,000. So I think that little fine for cheating might have been worth it.